Oh, we're live. There we go. Boom. There we go. You got that. A little bit awkward.
We're away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 40K Frontiers. With us today, we've got the beautiful people from Sweden. So we got Karl. How you doing, Karl?
I'm awesome. Thank you.
And you got Jonathan.
Heck
How
yeah,
you
you are.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
That's good. Oh, sorry. You go.
I said,
How's
how
how
are
you were, Sam?
Oh, great. Better now seeing you both. I mean, early morning for us, but we're getting there. And also joining me as well, we've got Mr. Towse. Making a return.
I exist still.
So, guys, we're going to be talking to you both, I guess, so Karl and Jonathan, so both, I guess, long-time WTC players from Sweden and players in the community in Sweden about the recent Malmo Major that happened over the weekend, and also talking all things Swedish 40K and what the WTC likes from Sweden. So, before we get started, though, just going around the room. So, Karl, how did you get into 40K? How long have you been playing?
Oh my God, I started playing when I was like 12 or something. And then about 10 years ago, my friends were sitting out really drunk and just talking about how good it used to be to play. So we went down in my parents' basement and just dug out all their old stuff. And basically just, hey, let's do it. And we played for a while, and then we noticed there was a scene in Sweden. Oh, you can actually go to tournaments and play this. So let's do it. We thought we were going to be like the oldest guys there, being, 27 or something. And we realized that we were the youngest. So everyone was there. Everyone was just away from their families, drinking beer, having fun. And I just fell in love with it. So I've been going to tournaments steady since. And
Fantastic.
this first tournament, we finished dead last. It was a doubles tournament. We finished dead last. It's a 20-0 system. And we were 40 points behind the guys coming next. Next up. Still up.
Over how many rounds?
5.
Yeah, not bad.
Oh, well, you can only go onwards and upwards from there, right? I mean,
Exactly.
But hey, did you finish the most drinks in that time?
Oh, yes, for sure.
That's what truly matters, right? And then, Jonathan, how about yourself? How long have you been playing 40K, and how did you get into it?
Not unlike Karl, I started when I was 12. I don't know what the difference in our age is actually, but yeah, I started when I was 12. It's like third edition. I remember the 3.5 Chaos Codex fondly. It was most overpowered thing at the time. And then I took a long break going to uni and all that stuff. And then I came back at the start of 8th edition. Came off a bit of a Magic the Gathering competitive playing, and I wanted a new outlet. And I, just like Karl, I was actually quite happy to see that there are a little bit of an older audience playing 40K, whereas in Magic there was mostly like 15 to 18-year-olds. So yeah, I cannot stop myself being competitive in whatever game I play. So it was always the.
Is it cheaper to be competitive in Warhammer or Magic though, with the plastic or the cardboard crack? Or should I just not ask this question?
I don't know if I want to think about it.
You don't even want to think about it?
No, I don't. I think Magic is cheaper if you're smart enough to sell your stuff before it rotates. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Whereas in 40K, you just collect things in a pile forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard one. Like, I knew someone locally, funny enough, he said it was cheaper for Warhammer, funny enough, because but he sold all his Magic stuff. Like, he bought into like Modern when it first started, bought all his power and stuff like that, and then reserved this stuff. And then as soon as he got out, he's like sold it like within the past year or two. And so like it just funded his 40K hobby for a while now. So, but it's definitely, you got to chase it sometimes, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can like buy and sell Magic cards like stocks, and if you're into that, then probably you make money, but that's not really a thing in 40K.
No, absolutely not. Fantastic. So guys, how in the Swedish sense, obviously from the outside we sort of hear a little bit about it, but like how many total players is there in Sweden that generally play 40K? Or is it a hard question to ask?
Well, it's not a hard question to ask, but say that our biggest tournaments are around 100 people.
Oh, wow.
And but on our ranking, we have 817 active people playing, but they don't play many tournaments at all. So normally, say 100 is a big tournament. A normal tournament is like 50.
Yeah, sure. That's pretty good, though. So you go, Jonathan.
Yeah, obviously, I'm going to say of those 100-player tournaments, we run about 1, 2, 5, 6. There's about 600-player tournaments a year, spread out all over Sweden. And I mean, what Kalle said about the 800 plus players, those 800 plus players played a game in the last 1.5 years for the ranking. So, I mean, not the most active, maybe all of them, but still, it's quite a lot.
It's still a pretty big scene though overall.
Yeah.
And we took it spread over Sweden. Is it like some general hubs or like big cities that there's like 40k generally played in? Obviously, you have your Malmos and your Stockholms and stuff like that. Is it like where the big scenes are being played, or is it all spread out throughout Sweden?
Well, it's both, I would say. We have like Malmö, Stockholm, Gothenburg, and of course Västerås, and even Umeå, which is a really big hub for 40k players. But every single small town has their own small scene. I mean, you can have like tournaments with 12 people in a place not even I've heard of, which is really funny when you see it BCP and just, I could go there for a few games.
This is someone's garage. Yeah, but like if we talk competitively, it's like the most competitive, like the biggest competitive scene is like Stockholm and Västerås right next to it, which is like an hour in between those two cities, I would say are the most competitive players. But then we have some really competitive players on the other side of the country in Gothenburg, like Rickard Nilsson, some down in Malmö, none up in Umeå, unfortunately. They are known for their more casual side. But they do still host big tournaments up there, so yeah.
Yeah, wow. So how is it hard to travel between those cities? So obviously you mentioned that between Västerås and Stockholm, it's like an hour between. How is it hard to travel from where you are to like those big cities like Stockholm and stuff like that? Is it like a couple of hours to travel to, or
how was your travel to Malmö, Karl?
5 hours on the train, I think. Maybe 6 hours 6 hours with the bus or something. But you can always fly. I mean, you can fly in like 1 hour everywhere and stuff. So
and is it relatively expensive? Obviously, normal times is it, I guess, cheaper. Is it relatively cheap to fly, or is it pretty expensive still? Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
You can fly to like Umeå for like $100.
Okay.
Not too bad.
So like 200 return, or is that 100 return total? Is it 100 each way, or
Yeah, 100 each way.
Yeah.
It's manageable. Not the easiest, but like it's manageable for sure, right?
It is quite a distance. Like
Yeah, but it's worth it because Umeå is the Fanatic they have up there is a really nice tournament. I really like it.
Nice. Is it the Fantasia Fanatic you're referring to? Yeah, nice. Yeah, cool. And so I think it was hosted like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it was something like that. It was like just hosted before this year. Yeah.
And they're hit an insane. Was it like the 23rd or 26th Fanatic or something?
It's even more. It's like the 40th or something. I don't know. It's
and they host 2 tournaments a year. So just counting back, they're definitely the oldest tournament in Sweden, right? Far.
Yeah. Wow. That's impressive. So it's been going for years and years and years. Yeah. Wow. So are these like cities and like hubs relatively well connected? Like you guys get people to travel from city to city to city to play in events? Yeah, people are pretty well connected and like, well versed. Yeah, that's sweet.
Like any of the big tournaments, you can always count on the best players from every country. I mean, from every city being there. Like every tournament is going to be a murderous row of the best in Sweden. Like even if I host an RTT, there can be people coming 4 hours away on the train just to compete, and then it's like even the RTTs get quite competitive.
People savages. People savages. What's the scene like generally? Is it obviously you referred to before you used a 20-0 system for some, or back in the day, Karl, you had the 20-0 system. Is it generally all like WTC focused in terms of FAQs and style of play or scoring per se? And is it more competitively focused, like for most events and games, or is it more open play crusade for people around Beer Hammer?
The big tournaments have a tendency to be really competitive and very WTC is prevalent. But we also have a smaller tournament, which is Beer Hammer. The tournaments I normally host is actually a combination. We have probably the strongest lineup of any single tournament in Sweden. And we serve alcohol all day, and everyone gets really, really drunk. It's a really good tournament.
So it starts as competitive, and then it's survival of the fittest towards the end or something.
It's competitive drinking in the end. That's why I want to win those.
Yeah.
It's an Iron Man from the sounds of things, but in a different way.
Just ducking back slightly, sorry if this is messing with your question sheet, Sam, but when you're saying you've got these big tournaments of 100-odd players and people traveling across the country and all that, how much do you get people coming in from other neighboring countries or Europe in general? Is there much of that? Do you advertise for that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, we try, but it's like Malmo has a lot of Danish and Norwegian people coming in. If it's Gothenburg, they usually get a few Norwegians. Up in Umeå, Finland, Finnish people come in. So it's, and I wouldn't say that, and we don't get many from like the UK or anything like that. We have a team tournament in a few weeks that some Polish teams looked at coming to, but in the end they bail out, obviously scared.
Clearly, yeah.
But yeah, we have tried to advertise, for example, for flying to Västerås or Sweden from London would takes like an hour and 45, and you could land in the city the tournament is in. So, but yeah.
Is it all the tournaments done, like obviously you guys maybe a factor is like all the tournaments done in English? Like is it to follow that WTC I guess ruling of speaking in English for all tournaments, or most people speak in Swedish, and then I guess if you have some English person rock up, you'd maybe switch to English? Yeah. So most speaks.
We speak Swedish in most tournaments, and of course, if someone is English and we know that, we will switch to English, but we don't have that many English-speaking people. And most people actually speak English or English live here, knows enough Swedish, so they can get by.
Yes, sure, fair. That makes sense. Is there much interaction, like generally throughout the year? From like you mentioned that people are flying from Norway and Denmark for like Malmo and events like that. Is there much interaction throughout the year between those countries, like in terms of practice and traveling to their events and stuff like that?
Well, I talk to some Finnish people from time to time, but we mostly have to talk. We don't play.
Sure.
Now with the TTS actually on the rise, maybe we will start playing a lot more TTS, but we don't play any international now.
We had one scrim versus the Danish team last year, and I've been talking a bit with the Norwegian captain the last few weeks. So I think we're going to see lots of TTS scrims towards the other northern countries in the coming year, but not historically.
But with TTS as well, right? You can play. You're not then limited. There's not much incentive to play against anyone geographically close to you, other than time zones, I guess, right?
And rivalries, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
There is a strong rivalry in most sports versus our neighboring countries. So
yeah.
Do you guys come out on top though? Generally, historically, I imagine it gets you at various Nordic countries, like
in Warhammer or sports.
Yeah, Warhammer.
In
Warhammer. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Danish.
Oh, we'll leave it there then.
Don't worry about anything else. Nothing else matters, right? There's surely other things that matter, like the Olympics and stuff like that. No. All about Warhammer.
We beat the Finnish team at this year's WTC, and they were the second highest Nordic country.
Yeah.
And they'll stay that way for a while. Easy. So in regards to tournaments, so you mentioned before that you have a team tournament coming up in the future. Do you generally play like more singles events with that WTC scoring, or is it team events, or is it a hybrid between the both?
I would say that in ninth, me personally, the tournaments I host have been pushing more towards 20-0 systems. In the last year or two, we've been pushing more team tournaments. Historically, there's always one team tournament in Sweden. They play 1,500 points, but it's a really popular tournament. And then now there's I know of another 3-4 team tournaments planned. So I think team tournaments are hitting Sweden in a way. So it's like a new meta coming up.
Yeah, fantastic. And is it that sort of 4 to 5 player mark? Is that where most team tournaments are, or is it? Yeah, sweet. Just it's easy to gather people for, and it's easy to advertise.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get. Someone told me that you do 5 or 4 because that's how many you can get in a car, right?
True.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. What's the terrain like generally in Sweden? Is it all the WTC styles terrain, or is it like a hybrid or your own unique style?
I would say it's a unique style. We tried to actually get more WTC, and Västerås has started playing a lot more GW, which is nice. But we have a unique, old unique that's just we don't have enough terrain. There's never enough terrain in Sweden. That's
So you play a place and then it's someone else's problem, not the TO's fault?
Yeah.
No, we would never do that. We do not talk about player-place terrain. No, there is, I would say, because we have like old, smaller-ish ruins, and in Västerås we have a lot of them per table. So I mean, it's WTC placing of the ruins, but there's not the WTC L format, like the exact L.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then there is a million ways to get around that terrain. It's like, as a TO, you don't play Dawn of War because that requires more terrain. And maybe day 1 you play Hammer and Anvils, and then on day 2 when you play the corner deployments, you turn the terrain that way to, make sure you're hidden in your problem. Yeah.
Unless you're playing GW format, then no turnover ruins allowed. Play Dawn of War, Hammer and Anvil. Is that right?
No, that's not right. We have our own measurements for the GW format as well to make it more competitive.
Yeah. Do you do the what was it? I know Anthony was saying that one of the formats is basically good, and you just turn the used 90 degrees depending on like which deployment style you're using.
Yeah, I mean,
you do something along those lines.
Yeah, basically, you turn the ruins so they're always facing towards the opponent with the most protected part or whatever.
Yeah,
very sensible.
That can't be right. No, we got to do the most crazy thing ever, right? And just make it look silly. No. So heading on to talking about WTC. So, what was the journey like for Sweden heading into this year's WTC? Was like a new team? Was it exciting? Or what was your guys' expectations heading in? So, obviously, know yourself, Jonathan. You were part of the team, but were you captain of the team or no?
I was co-captain of
Co-captain.
What would that be? The 2022 team, and this is 2023. Whatever. Yeah.
2022 was this year, right? And next year will be 2023. But you've now become captain of that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was co-captain last year because the current captain basically felt he no longer had the time because it is a big time investment. It was quite a new team, I would say. We had maybe two or three old players that played it before. One of the players played it when he was like 15 and then has a long break. So I don't even know if he counts. But it was mostly a new team coming in. I actually think this year we will have more veterans than we did last year because Karl didn't play last year and he's a long-time veteran. So, yeah.
That's good. And were you guys sort of happy with the results and what you got? So you got 6th or 7th overall? 5th? Sorry. 7th, sorry, my bad. I know it was roughly in that range, sorry. But were you guys happy with the results overall, or were you...
I mean, are you ever happy with 7th place? I think we were happy because we had 2 losses to Australia and to Germany. And
pretty respectable teams to lose to.
Your only 2 losses are to the 2 of the best teams, like the top 3 in the tournament, and it's hard to not be happy with your results. We had a draw with Spain that most of us felt like we should have won, so maybe you're a bit unhappy there, but in the end, if those are your 2 losses, then I don't think you can be disappointed.
Nah, fair enough. And heading before the tournament, we didn't hear that so the US flies out generally like a week or so before, and is it practices with the Swedish team? What's that relationship like, and it's like how long has that been going on for?
Oh God, Karl.
It's been going on for a long time. We have many stories, and none of them are fit for be public. Say that it's been going. I've been meeting up with them for for 5 years maybe, and they always come and they live with Daniel Hesselberg, who is the old captain. He is the connection to them, and it's been plenty of them, and it's always like really good games, really good drinks, and really good parties. We really enjoy that. It's Team America, one of the best guys that I've ever met in the 40K scene. So I do hope that they will come next year as well.
And have you guys found that useful, having, I guess, that week or so before just practice games and testing things out against the Americans?
Yeah, of course. I mean, since we didn't have any TTS and such, we have basically haven't tried out our list properly against other lists. We've just been talking about them. And I mean, talk can only get you so far. So just seeing it on the table is a really big thing. So, yeah, it's really helped us out, I would say.
Yeah, sure.
So,
that's you go.
Oh yeah, I was just say. So, what's the connection on the US side like? Because they've had sort of Sean as the captain in that core going for quite a while, although that's changing. Is it Sean and Daniel that have had the relationship for whatever reason that's led to it, or someone else on the team?
No, it's Nick. It's rather Nick, I would say.
Right.
Chester.
Yeah, Chester. Definitely.
Chester.
I suppose that fits with the good drinks as well as the good game side of things. Yeah, that shouldn't be that surprising.
No, I met Sean, but I've only met him actually at WTCs, not in Sweden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So obviously you guys were here. Neil Kerr, so the referee at WTC, lives in Sweden. Obviously, from the UK area region initially. What's it like having the head WTC referee in Sweden? Is it helpful to have? Like, can you like maybe push some rulings you in favor? It's like, come on, Neil, let's be real.
Well, Neil is really good to have when someone is arguing when they shouldn't. He's not that good to have when you actually need to get a rule right. Then you come to me. He comes to me if he wants to know what the rule is. So I'll say that. No, Neil is just great. And having that connection to WTC has certainly helped me become a part of the WTC easier. Just like, because he knows everyone, obviously.
Yeah. Right. So he's good at managing difficult people or problems and putting out fires, but actually, leaves the
rulings to someone else. Yeah.
I mean, in a way that makes sense and can be good to have, right? Because I guess if you're stereotyping 40K players, often like not the biggest fans of conflict or conflict resolution, that sort of thing, but definitely good at, studying up any and everything in the rules and all that deal. So
yeah, definitely. I think if I have it right, Neil is an ex-rugby player, so
Nice.
Yeah.
He's actually a rugby judge, I think, even. Not even a player. He's a player, of course, but a rugby judge. I think,
Yeah, you need to be able to stand the ground. Rugby being like pretty big here in New Zealand and Australia, and you see some of the refs that are like looking up and just staring down some of these absolute unit players. Is like, nah, not taking any of this. Know your place. So Warhammer nerd should be no trouble for him.
Shouldn't it be? But I'm sure they'll try their best, right?
Yeah.
From time to time. So obviously heading into WCC, we actually heard in retrospectively, you guys prepared, from the sounds of things, prepared very well. In a sense, if you did maps for each mission, you had maps prepared in terms of like line of sight was prepared.
Yeah,
the color grid, was that a thing that you've been doing for a while, or was that something?
No, this was Richard Nilsson's project for this year. Because obviously he plays shooting armies, so he wanted perfect line of sight maps for all the tables. I think they took him a long time to do, and I honestly don't think we used them properly in pairings. We could definitely have used them a lot better. But yeah, it was a neat idea, and I think we need to look into more how to implement them in the future.
Do you know how he made them? Do you know what sort of software he was looking to use for that?
Some kind of drawing software. I think he just like drew out the angles in some kind of 3D. I mean, not 3D.
Like a 2D
drawing.
Okay, Yeah.
Just MS Paint, Towse. He just started squiggling it.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't that.
Well, look, Jonathan jokes about doing it with 3D software, but like because of how like I'm a 3rd generation engineer, so I've been like running tournaments and set up like modeled the full terrain with where objectives go in CAD I'm like, okay, cool, this is this. I've had at some point where on my computer in front of me here, when I had one screen with the CAD model, one with Tabletop Simulator to simulate it, and then over there in the corner of my room also the physical board, so I could go between them and check, does this look right? Okay, cool. And then made like templates to reset between rounds. It was thoroughly over-engineered, but at least it was appreciated. So I could imagine something similar happening.
You and Rickard could just meet up and just things nerdy.
Yeah. Just like, but if you consider the 3D one, we've got like height maps and and it's like if for the containers they don't have obscuring, it's like you can hide here, you can't hide here with this model at this height.
Yeah, what's the angle from the top of the large L's down into the middle?
You know, Rickard would love this. He would love this.
He would love
Yeah. I should find there was somewhere someone was asking about like, oh, the crate's going to block line of sight well enough, and I took a picture of, you know, a knight however far back with the missile hat on top and a stick, going like, nah, look, see, you can hide a normal infantry model this far back from a knight. This feels fine.
Just then also go around and see what models can actually fit. Just make sure to mention Team Germany, the bomber that can fit around WTC ruins.
Oh my god!
My Lim is great, but he gets stuck in the minutia sometimes. I would say that.
Yeah.
Poor dude.
What's the miss the forest for the trees or something like that?
Yeah.
That's saying. Yeah.
Miss the night for the tail.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, to anyone listening that's confused, there's a WTC Discord that I'm pretty sure it's open access because I found my way in just independently, and if nothing else, joining just to look at the conversion approval channel for comedy purposes is probably worthwhile. Would you agree?
Yeah, conversion and then just the rulings. It can be great comedy.
Yeah, and yeah, somewhere in there, the German team was saying that no, the Knight Abominant can't fit through some things because of the tail, but then basically it can, and it's fine. Don't worry about it.
It can technically not move anywhere on WTC tables because the tail sticks out and hits the building. The base doesn't, but the tail does. So they just rule that the tail does not exist.
Yeah, you just like have the tail clip through and it's fine, and then you continue. Yeah, okay, cool. How wonderfully sensible. I'm sure Neil probably had something to do with that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Easy. So this past weekend you had the Malmo Major. So how many players was the event? Like, how many people attended the event? So obviously, no, it's like a big weekend. Like, it's a sponsored event. There's multiple game systems. But how many people played for 40K?
80, 90, I would say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, actually, they just entered into rankings, so I should be able to see. Yeah, it was around 90.
Yeah, wow.
No, actually 80. 80, exactly.
80 is around 90. Close enough.
Round it up. It's fine.
Yeah.
So what did you guys play heading to the event? Obviously, I know we talked pre-show what it was roughly, but so what did you guys take to the event? So starting with yourself, Karl, what did you take to the event?
Well, I took my Jeans Cult. I've been playing Jeans Cult not in 9th really, but in 7th and 8th. I actually took Jeans Cult to the last 3 WTCs I went to, and I've been playing them for a long time. I really like them, but I've been playing Grey Knights for a better part of this year because for some reason I decided I wanted to be number 1 Grey Knight in the world. And now that I was like, okay, fine, now I can start playing my true armies, which is Tyranids and Jeans Cult. So I played one tournament with Tyranids and then said, no, they're still too good. I don't want to play this. So I took Jeans Cult instead and basically went into this tournament with 2 or 3 matches. And it went well. I went 4-1, and I lost 11-9 against the Tyranid in the 4th game, and ended up 6th, which is respectable for Jeans Cult, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, Well done, well done, well done. Did you enjoy having all your bikes and your also looking through this neophyte hybrids and bikes? Was it fun, like deep striking, just obliterating people with exposed and stuff like that?
It's I've been playing Pauper Princess, which is of course a lot cooler, but it's really bad. You can't really play charging armies which don't have any mechanics to get into combat. It's a horrible way to play it. And these guys they shoot so well. You don't realize how well they actually shoot. And if people look at my list and see my icon wards, Oppressor's Bane, just don't mind it. It's a joke. I said I would take this relic as a joke, and I did. And do not use the Oppressor's Bane. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible relic.
Is it a pistol relic or something?
Yes.
Or...
Yeah. It's a pistol relic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
What are you talking about? I've heard pistol relics are great. Nothing wrong with them. The Workers rounds are okay, but it doesn't, I guess, technically count.
Best pistol relic is the conflagration gauntlet or whatever it is on the Gloctopus for the Necrons.
Yeah.
6-arm guy with 6 pistols. Strap on another pistol, lads.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So what did you take, Jonathan?
I took light Harlequins because I'm that guy.
Did you actually take 2,000 points of Harlequins this time?
This time I took 2,000 points of Harlequins.
So you clearly would have done better than last time, right?
This is incorrect. I had my... Malmo for me is historically my worst tournament. I've gone 3... Yeah. It's the only tournament in Sweden I will go 3-2 on.
Yeah.
I've been 4 times. I've gone 3-2, 3-2, won the one after that, and then this year I went 3-2.
Okay. So last year was an anomaly.
Last year was a redemption that did not last for long.
Yeah, alrighty then.
It sounds like there's a story there with taking 2,000 points of Harlequins. Like, did you just get some models on the way? Or?
Oh yeah, I can. When Harlequins came out, they were obviously ungodly broken with the Void Weavers and everything. So we had a tournament in Gothenburg that actually Neil ran. Right as the data slate came out, it was like the data slate came out on the Thursday, not unlike Malmo now. And Harlequins, so I knew Harlequins were getting nerfed. So I didn't have the slate. I just submitted 1860 points of Harlequins to this tournament in Gothenburg because I didn't want to play an army. Like, I knew the army was going to get nerfed. I might as well try this. And I submitted Twilight because obviously Light was too strong. And I thought we were going to nerf that too. And then so I played 1860 points of this tournament, and I went 6-0. I won it.
Yeah.
Versus unnerfed Custodes and unnerfed Tau.
Just crushing.
Fair enough.
Ahead of the meta.
Yeah, it's fine. The US has finally caught up and worked out that Twilight's not bad, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
They also think they're the first people to win tournaments with it, and I did it when Harlequins came out.
Yeah. It's like, what? You're not the first? Look, I did it back when they were completely busted. Easy. Yeah.
Too good. So, how'd you go at the event, Jonathan? So you said that you went 3-2 overall?
I went 3-2. Historically, Malmo is a great tournament and probably my favorite tournament, even though it's one I do the worst at. But they do struggle with terrain sometimes. And I paired into some bastard playing Genes to the Cult in round 3 of day 1.
What an absolute
And I got shot off the table because I went second. I don't really feel like I could have played that many ways. The amount of terrain on the table made it so, like, if I go first, I win. If he goes first, he wins, probably.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with how I played it, but I didn't have many choices. Not much.
Dude, just roll to go first better. Just seize the initiative.
I should have just gone first.
Can some bastard confirm? Or was that
Oh, well, the thing is, what Jonathan did was the real tactical play of not redeploying his army when he went second. So he just put his army on the line and said, I'm going first, and then not redeploying. So basically,
I think redeploying backwards would have lost me the game slower.
So it's like, it's a coin toss regardless. Let's have a longer lunch or go home early or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, and I was quite sick, so I want to go to bed.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I lost that matchup, and I lost the matchup into Demons, which was actually... His Flamers are very good into Holocrons, I think.
Yeah. You lost the match into, was it how many points of Flamers plus some Demons army stapled to the side of it?
Yeah, there were like 2 big demons running around doing absolutely nothing, and then 18 Flamers tabling me. That was good.
Because were you running like a classic like 8-9 boat Euro list?
8 boats, 8 boats, 5 characters, yeah.
Yes, is that like 2 Death Jesters, 2
I ran a Solitaire and a Death Jester, probably better as double Death Jester because no terrain. But
yeah. What do you do?
Yeah.
Cool.
And so you said this was like a historical event, Malmo. How long has this been running for? Has this been a couple of years? Or?
Oh, no, it's 6 years. I think this was the 6th, right?
Yeah, something like that. I have the swag somewhere.
We'll confidently go with 6 and then can be corrected by...
it's about the 6th year. It's, the reason I like it is that it's hosted in a hotel. Most like Americans find this weird that not all events are hosted in hotel rooms. I mean, in hotels, but just being able to stay and play at the same place, I just feel very comfortable. And this year they also had free ice cream, so
Nice. Got to enjoy the little things. Yeah.
And the bar did open early, so it was really nice.
Yeah.
Did I guess where do you normally have your events hosted in Sweden then if they're not at a hotel? Just sort of a generic like where you can
schools.
Like school halls and stuff.
Yeah.
That's somewhat common here, I think, or at least there was like the Wellington scene here there's a school that's often hosted and stuff like that.
Yeah, our 3 majors per year are all in a big school auditorium. Is that a thing?
Auditorium? The school, like the gym auditorium. That sort of.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just a big room with lots of tables. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make it awkward for you guys on the bringing alcohol front, or is it sort of just be?
Well, we don't drink at those kinds of events because it's schools. Of course, we don't drink at those kinds of events because it's schools.
I see.
There's no alcohol allowed inside the school.
Yeah.
I cannot deny what happens
I
at the parking lot,
but Yeah. Much like some unconfirmed river shenanigans. Is that right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't know what you... Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
It's just a very hot day in Belgium, and I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing happened at all here. And
what happens at the WTC stays at WTC. So
there we go.
Yeah. Was it Liam, Sam, or there was like one of the Aussies was talking about maybe one of the WTCs was hosted at a school, and maybe it was the Aussie team comes along. And it's like, so this is at a school. What are the rules around drinking? And it's like, if we can't see what you're drinking, you're safe. And so they rip a score sheet in half, wrap it around the can, go cheers, and get cheered by the whole crowd. So, yeah, classic Warhammer predicament.
I sadly don't think they'll work too well for your school tournaments hosted, but maybe you could try. Actually, no, you would never try that, but maybe.
No.
I can tell that the connection to that school is not something we want to lose because we do not pay a lot for that. That whole
sure.
very good, especially if you want to spend a lot of money on WTC rain for your local club, like I just did. So yeah.
So note to self, it's a good thing running my events out of a university rather than out of a school, where it is very much a right to drink. And in fact, there is a bar in the same building, not that it's open on when I've been able to book. So yeah, it's good to know.
So with your events, so obviously, Karl, you mentioned before you want to be top grade night player in the world. Do you guys do the general like ITC rankings per se, or like have the ITC points for your events? Is that a pretty common thing?
Yeah, we have both. We report to ITC and we have our own Swedish ranking. And the Swedish ranking is how we take out our own national team. But yeah, so we have both, best of both worlds.
Is your with the Swedish ranking, do you have some variation of the sort of common, the top ranked gets to be captain, or within the top 3 get to choose a captain, and then there's a process of like those 3 choose some more and yada yada yada, some variation of that for your exactly. Listeners, there is nodding from Jonathan at least. So yeah,
I mean, if you quickly the top 3 gets picked for the team. The top 3 picks a captain, does not have to necessarily be within those top 3. This year it was. And then those together pick the rest of the team, mostly from the top 10, but you can make some outside picks.
Yeah.
Rules allowed. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and are these events like the ones that you pick from for the Swedish rankings? Are they all just like generic like singles team tournaments and based upon like how people place per se, or is it a combination of
the size and how you place matter. Team tournaments actually count for a little bit less because you split it with
your team.
Yeah. Which is maybe not the best, but yeah, it's the system we have right now. And the most important thing is that the system runs, the rankings run for a year and a half. So we actually, because if we were to use the ITC system, then we would, when we're picking the team, there would be like 4 months left of the season.
Yeah.
And then it would be wiped, and then it's not as useful.
Yeah. And so, and I suppose given the way that you do it, right, you end up with the top 3 who at least should mostly be, is it the top 3 like need to be on the team, or the top 3 sort of have the opportunity? If someone's like, for whatever reason, just smashing tournaments, like, I'm not that keen on WTC, or they're planning to move away, I assume there's something for that.
We don't force them to be on the team. They don't get made.
That's like, you will play at the WTC, and you're first, so you shall be captain.
No, I think Karl was top 3 last year and said no, right? So
yes,
there's definitely precedent to say no.
You can say no, which was frowned upon by the entire Swedish community. But I did.
But you also told me after that you were very unhappy with not being there this year.
Yes.
So this year when I asked him, he definitely wanted to be on the team.
Hey, he's allowed to be upset with his decisions.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Helps me this year. So.
Yeah, but then I suppose like with you having that the top 3 to start forming the team, then you can start looking at, oh well, this person's, doing pretty well in singles, but has represented his team well going at team events, sort of thing, right? Like, so you've got some discretion.
Definitely, and it's also like how many factions do they play? Most likely next WTC will be played in 10th edition, so I can't really. I have no idea what factions will be good. So just picking the best, most flexible players is what makes sense at the moment.
Yeah.
And other factors.
Yeah. So I assume, obviously, based on that statement, preparations to WTC 2023 is well underway. Like, are you guys just like helping pick the team now and sort of get ready and stuff like that?
We've started. We've taken out. We have 4 people in the team at the moment. So we have us 2 and 2 more, and then we've started. Well, not talking so much about lists as archetypes and who is interested in doing what, rather, which is a good solid place, especially if, like Jonathan says, we're going into a new edition. We can't really be looking at specific codex. There's no point in doing that. So just starting to build a well-rounded team.
Yeah. We've run a practice game against some of America's prospects. We just joined a league now in TTS League for 5-player teams. There are lots of them, like 3 Polish teams, 2 German teams, Belgian teams playing, and so yeah.
I think I know Francis, the guy from where I am, is in there. He was sharing some of the teams. So yeah, I saw your name in there.
Yeah. So I say we're further along in our practice for this year than we ever were last year. Like, this is starting quite early for actually doing pairings and running team stuff. So yeah.
Nice.
So you talked about being flexible. Do people typically in Sweden play like 1 or 2 armies or 3 armies and like focus down on those, like sort of what the Australian approach is, or do people play like eclectic range and then focus more closely towards WTC? So I know, Karl, you talked about GSC, Tyranids, and Grey Knights before, but is that what you normally play, or you collect everything and play everything?
I also play and have been playing competitively Drukhari, White Scars, Astrobultarum, something Necrons. So yeah, I have a wide range, but the army I normally take to WTC is Tyranids and use the Cult, because that's my armies. But I play a lot more. I tend to get bored if I play something too long.
Sure.
I would say a WTC where Nids or GSC is viable is a WTC where Karl plays them historically, because he would be one of the better players for that. I think this edition of 9th and 8th, the meta shifts a lot faster, so we tend to have more, what do we call it, meta chasing?
Generalist players?
Yeah, or meta chasing. But we also have our specialists like Rickard again, mentioned 3rd time, and other people that just run their armies. Like we have an Elder / Harlequin player that has only owned that army since he was 12 again. So like there are, but I am making it a requirement for this year that people do branch out. If they only have one faction, that's not going to be good enough, I think.
Oh, you're going to even make a Rickard Nielsen branch out from Adbeck. What's he going to do? Is he going to play just Imperial Knights now with his
Tau.
Yeah.
See, you have to make them commit.
Oh, easy. So for the rest of the year in Sweden, is there some big events heading for the rest of the year in the lead up, I guess, for WTC next year? Or
let's see.
We have like a 50-man in Stockholm here in December, and then we have the fantasy. Then we have your Westeros team tournament, and
3 weeks.
3 weeks, and then I don't think we have anything more this year. And then it's like next Westeros, yeah. Yeah,
Westeros will be again in March. Another Fantasia is in March. Fantasia Fanatic number of 558 or whatever, and
seems accurate.
Yeah, and then Gothenburg's tournament is at around Easter, so some things running up to start.
Sounds fun.
And what's the relationship? I know, is it Fantasia or Fantasia? They sponsored the Malmo event this past weekend. Is it like, I guess, LGS or like, and they produce some YouTube videos as well?
Fantasia is a store that hosts events. Of the big tournament runners, they are the only store. The rest are most local clubs.
Sure. Yeah. It was funny. Oh, you go, Towse?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so is that because I think in the US it's pretty common to be like, for local scenes to be based around a store, whereas where I'm at, it's more, the sort of clubs where you go along and that sort of thing. So Sweden a bit more like there are clubs for Warhammer that have a place that they play out of center around like that.
Yeah, more like clubs, I would say. It's a bit harder in Stockholm because it costs so much more to rent like a club. Thing.
Yeah. We tend to play out of each other's living rooms. So basically everyone in Stockholm, well, saying everyone, but we have like free tables at home, so we can always host a like 6-man day. It's quite nice. But then we of course have like Alpha Spel is a place we can go and play, and they can host like up to 40 people. but it's not just for 40k. It's a shop which has board games and everything. And you can just go there and play if you want to. It's a real nice little thing.
Nice. Cool.
Easy. Well, we've had some people joining as we join live, some questions from the chat. So, as people wake up, so get everyone. Question for everyone: if you were a fruit, what fruit would you be and why? Obviously, a very 40k related question. Let me start with you, Karl. What sort of fruit would you be and why?
Well, in this context, I would say it would be a kiwi.
Hey, love it.
Yep.
What are you, Jonathan? What fruit would you be?
I was gonna say kiwi. This is terrible.
Your country needs to.
I would be a pineapple.
Nice.
Yeah.
Solid. Sam, what would you be?
I mean, I think my last name gives it away. Basically, I'll just be.
Oh, true. You got the easy option.
Yeah, lemon's a fruit, right?
Yeah.
Definitely is for this context. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there like a really loud fruit or something that you need to like crack open? I don't know. What?
You could just be a tomato and then just cause a massive argument.
Oh no, I know. I'll do orange because of this stupid, annoying YouTube video way back.
Angry orange.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna go with orange for better or worse. There we go.
Good.
Cool. All right. Aiden, are you happy?
There we go. But then, well, I have a 40k related question. So here we go. Let's get back on topic. Come on, 24k. No. So maybe starting with yourself, Jonathan. So what unit would you include in a heartbeat if it wasn't mediocre or bad? Like, what's like a favorite unit of yours that you wish you could include more, but like it's just mediocre or bad right now?
Let's look at my
as he looks at the clock.
White Scourge Leviathan Dreadnought. That was my favorite unit for a long time. Advancing and shooting was, I love that.
Specifically White Scourge ones.
Yeah, let's advance and shoot. There is not happening.
Okay.
I love that.
What about you, Karl?
Well, I'm thinking. I mean, it's kind of hard, actually. I don't know. I don't think that you should shy away from mediocre units. I love my Metamorphs, for instance. They're quite mediocre.
What about Aberrants?
But Aberrants are just horrible. Okay, I don't like Aberrants. No, okay, I don't want Aberrants. I'm going to say the Reductor Saboteur with the because I do enjoy the thought of her, but she is horrible. Yes, the Saboteur, please.
Alrighty.
Do you know, Towse, what you want?
I got a few different things I'm tossing up, like I think mostly it's like things that I've made nice converted models for. So the Custodes Blade Champ or Blade Chad. I've got like 3 Transcendent Satan that I converted, and so a fan of being able to run them. But as far as like just a model for the sake of running it, maybe just a Gallant, like a Knight Gallant for Imperial Knights, because I don't know. I remember back when the 8th Knights Codex came out, and like the House Terran, one of them running that in and double fighting it and doing just nonsense. Because back in 8th, where you could like declare against multiple things, like, all right, I'm going to go declare at these 2 things that are like a foot apart and go hit one of them and swing your massive Knight base around and kill the thing, then consolidate out and go activate again, hit that. That was fun, doing like combat shenanigans with this massive clunky idiot. Death Grip just like crushing characters. I in that vein, I wrote one of the first book lists with a new one I wrote had a stupid Gallant that auto charged anything within 29, like that was the minimum threat range. And then this is a free blade lance, so its free blade trait was that it got a free epic deed. The auto explode is an epic deed. So this guy's job was just a one-way trip, go rocket up, and then sit there and T-pose and explode. So
hell yeah. Love it. Yeah, I think for me, you have to be obviously looking at the pure Strange Gene Seals for GSC. They look amazing, but then you look at the regular Tyranid ones, who is like so sad, and all like 120, 140 I have sitting on my shelf are just very, very sad right now. Just Yeah.
The guy who won Malmo actually ran 5 jeansless.
There we go. There we go.
So
did you play Recover the Relics? Did they get him a command point or two?
I don't think we played Recover the Relics, actually.
No.
But yeah, that is
Unlucky.
the reason to play them.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Maybe it's the next meta choice. But yeah.
I actually, when I played Tyranids, a few games, I added them, and then my first game, okay, so I'll run and charge you. I ran. I'm like, you can't run and charge. What do you mean? I mean, sir. But, no, they removed that. What do you mean they removed that?
Oh, that's so sad compared to pure straights in GSE. It's like, what do you do? Oh, but easy. Well, thanks, guys. That's all the questions we had. So really, really appreciate your time spent with us today and learning more about Sweden and the Malmo and WTC and preparations. Is there any final plugs or anything you want to shout before we wrap things up?
The Westeros team tournament still has places, so
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be right over there. I'll just
easy.
Yeah, is it 4 or 5?
5.
4 or 5 players. All right, I'll get 4 other mates, and because we can fit all in a car then, and I'll head on over.
Yeah. Exactly. There's some ferries in there, but you will be fine. You should arrive in time for the tournament if you start.
Yeah. I've had the trip from New Zealand to Sweden's very easy. Just smooth drive. Easy.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Karl? Any final shout-outs? Any plugs?
No.
No.
Nothing comes to mind. I'd just like to thank you guys for having us. It was a really nice chat.
No worries. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. So until next time, we're looking forward to seeing you guys in the future, hopefully next WTC.
Yeah.
Easy. And best of luck to you guys.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.